All right, so you want to dive into some seriously big questions.
Oh, yeah.
Like immortality,
Okay.
engineered happiness,
Yeah.
humans becoming like gods.
All right. Let's do it.
You sent over these excerpts from Yuval Noah Harari,
Right.
especially from 21 Lessons to the 21st Century, and Homo Deus, and he just tackles those things head on.
He really does.
So buckle up, everybody, because this is going to get philosophical really fast.
He's such a fascinating thinker, you know?
Yeah.
What I find so interesting about his work is how he connects these sort of futuristic ideas
Yeah.
to something really basic about us humans,
Right.
our love of stories.
Mm-hmm.
He argues that for centuries,
Yeah.
we've been obsessed with these stories about God's nation's money,
Right.
even ourselves.
Okay.
And these stories, he says, have shaped our societies, our values,
Yeah.
even our sense of reality. And now he's saying that technology is creating a whole new set of stories,
Right.
ones that could completely rewrite what it means to be human.
It's like the next chapter of human evolution is being written in code.
Exactly.
I like that.
So he's laying out this future where algorithms might understand us better than we understand ourselves.
Okay.
Biotechnology could reshape not just our bodies, but also our minds,
Yeah.
even our happiness,
Wow.
and the systems we rely on, like democracy,
Right.
might not survive in this new world.
Okay, well, let's start with these all-powerful algorithms. That
Yeah.
You hear about them everywhere.
Yeah.
But Harari seems to be suggesting they're going from, like, recommending what we buy on Amazon
Right.
to, like, making huge life decisions for us.
Yeah, he takes it to a fascinating extreme.
Okay.
He asks us to imagine Anna Karenina,
Oh, from the Tolstoy novel.
exactly,
Yeah.
using a Facebook algorithm to decide whether to stay in her marriage
Uh-huh.
or run off with her lover.
Okay.
So would relying on an algorithm for such a pivotal decision make life easier?
Maybe.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
But would it rob us of the meaning we find in
Yeah.
those tough choices?
That's the real question.
That's what he's getting at.
It is a bit unnerving to think that we might outsource our biggest life decisions to a bunch of algorithms.
It is.
It really makes you wonder,
Yeah.
could an algorithm really understand the complexities of love and heartbreak and all of that?
That's exactly the point he's making.
Heck.
That while algorithms excel at efficiency and logic,
Right.
they may completely miss the nuances of human emotion and morality.
So they could play the perfect song for your heartbreak, but they wouldn't understand heartbreak.
Exactly.
Wow.
And what's even more unsettling is this idea
Okay.
that they might eventually be able to manipulate our emotions better than we can.
Okay, now that's straight out of a sci-fi thriller.
It is a bit, isn't it?
Okay, well, let's shift gears a bit and talk about biotechnology.
Okay,
Harari sees this as another big game changer.
definitely.
Like, he even suggests the possibility of engineering happiness.
Yeah.
That sounds like something right out of Brave New World.
It's a radical concept.
It is.
He's not talking about some simple happiness pill,
Okay.
but actually manipulating our biology, our brain chemistry,
Right.
to basically hardwire happiness into our systems.
So, like, tweaking genes,
Exactly.
using neuromodulation techniques, or even, like, implants.
Implantable devices that regulate our emotions.
Yeah.
The possibilities are fascinating,
Yeah.
but also a little terrifying.
Well, yeah, I mean, wouldn't that just be like a kind of artificial happiness?
That's a great question.
Like, if our emotions are basically pre-programmed,
Yeah.
could we really find fulfillment and meaning?
That's the heart of his point.
Yeah.
He's not saying this is the path we should take,
Right.
but he's forcing us to confront these really profound ethical dilemmas.
Right.
What does it even mean to be human if we can tinker with our very nature?
Yeah.
You know, our emotions are capacity for suffering and joy.
So even if we could eliminate all suffering, would we still appreciate those highs and lows?
Right.
The full spectrum of human experience?
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah, like, would a world without sadness really be a better world?
Exactly. And here's another thing to think about.
Okay.
Even if we have the technology to achieve something,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean society will just embrace it immediately. He uses the example of self-driving cars.
Okay.
They might statistically be much safer than human drivers,
Right.
but we might resist them for years,
Yeah.
maybe even decades,
I could see that.
because of political anxieties,
Wow.
fears about job displacement, or just our attachment to that feeling of control behind the wheel.
So even if we had the tech to engineer happiness or create a world without car accidents, we might not be ready for it.
Exactly.
Like psychologically or socially?
Like we have one foot in the future,
Yeah.
but the other foot is planted firmly in the past,
Right.
hesitant to let go.
Yeah, it's like we're not ready to let go of that steering wheel.
Exactly.
Interesting.
He's reminding us that technology isn't the only factor. Our beliefs, our values, even our fears, all play a role in how we adapt to these rapid advancements.
It's a complex interplay
It really is.
of science and culture and human nature.
Absolutely. You know, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Harari doesn't just focus on the technology itself.
Right.
He talks about the stories we tell about it.
Okay.
Almost like we're creating this mythology around technology.
Yeah, like technology is only as powerful as the narratives we build around it.
Exactly.
It's like we imbue these tools with meaning.
Yes. And that meaning can either, elevate us or enslave us.
Right. It's like a double-edged sword.
He argues that storytelling is fundamental to being human.
I can see that.
Like throughout history,
Yeah.
we've used stories to make sense of the world,
Right.
to create meaning,
Oh.
to build societies.
I mean, think about it. Religions are basically stories about gods in the afterlife.
Exactly.
Nations are built on these shared stories.
Right.
Shared history and identity.
Yeah.
Even money is based on this collective story that has value.
We're constantly weaving narratives to
Yeah.
explain the world around us and our place in it.
And now technology is providing the material for a whole new set of stories.
Right.
Stories about AI bioengineering,
Yeah.
the potential to transcend our limits.
It's captivating.
It is captivating, but it's also a little bit dangerous too.
It can be, yeah.
Like we're so drawn to these stories
Yes.
of progress and transcendence.
But we have to be careful
Right.
not to get swept away by the hype.
Yeah, we need to be critical
Exactly.
of the stories that we're being told and that we're telling ourselves.
He points out that throughout history, totalitarian regimes have used stories to manipulate people.
Oh, yeah.
They create these narratives of fear,
Uh-huh.
us versus them,
Right.
a glorious future that can only be achieved through obedience and sacrifice.
I mean, look at the Nazis and their stories of Aryan supremacy.
Exactly.
Or the Soviet Union with their communist utopia.
Yeah, these stories were so powerful in shaping people's beliefs and behaviors.
Even when they were based on lies.
Even when they were completely false.
And in the digital age, these stories can spread even faster.
Oh, absolutely.
Wider, thanks to social media and the internet.
Yeah, we're constantly bombarded with information.
It's
And it's harder than ever to know what's true and what's not.
So it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about how we use it,
Yes.
how we understand it.
How we prevent it from being used against us.
How do we prevent that?
Well, he urges us to be critical thinkers.
Okay.
Question the stories we're told. Be wary of anyone who promises simple solutions.
Right, because there usually aren't any.
Exactly.
To these really complex problems.
Be skeptical.
Yes.
Ask tough questions.
Yeah.
Demand evidence.
Proof.
Yes.
Okay, so technology is a tool.
It is.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or evil.
A hammer can build a house.
Right.
Or it can smash a skull.
It's all about the intention behind the tool.
Exactly. It's up to us to decide how we wield this tool. What kind of future we want to create.
Do we want a future where technology empowers us or a future where it enslaves us?
That's the question, isn't it?
It's a big one.
It is a big one.
That's a choice we have to make.
Individually and collectively.
So what does this all mean for the average person?
Right.
How can we prepare ourselves for this world that's changing so fast?
Well, he emphasizes education,
Okay.
but not just in the traditional sense.
Right.
It's about developing the skills we need to thrive in a world of constant change.
We need to equip ourselves with the tools
Yes.
to navigate this complex landscape.
Exactly.
So critical thinking, adaptability.
The ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn.
That's not just about learning facts anymore.
It's about cultivating a mindset
Right.
of curiosity, flexibility, and resilience.
Those are great points.
He believes that these skills will be essential for the future of work,
Okay.
where jobs are being disrupted by automation,
Right.
and the very nature of work is changing.
So it's not just learning to code.
Right?
It's about learning to think,
Exactly.
learning to solve problems.
And how to collaborate effectively with others,
Yeah.
being comfortable with uncertainty, embracing new challenges.
I like that.
And he also highlights the importance of cultivating our human qualities,
Okay.
the things that machines can't replicate.
Yeah, at least not yet.
Exactly.
So empathy,
Empathy,
compassion,
compassion, creativity.
the ability to connect
Yes.
with others on a deep, emotional level.
These are things that machines struggle with,
For sure.
even with all their computational power.
And these qualities, I imagine, are going to become even more valuable
Absolutely.
as machines take over those routine tasks.
We'll need human doctors
Right.
to provide comfort and care to their patients.
Even if an algorithm can make the diagnosis,
Exact.
human lawyers
Yeah.
to understand justice and fairness.
Even if an algorithm can write a legal brief.
So it's not just about being efficient, it's about being human. And recognizing that technology can be a force for good,
Yeah.
but it's up to us to guide it
Right.
in the right direction.
We can use it to improve healthcare,
Yeah.
education, living standards.
Mhm.
We can address climate change, poverty, inequality.
But we also have to be mindful of the potential downsides.
We have to.
We could use technology to create more division, more surveillance,
Absolutely.
more control.
It can manipulate us,
It can
undermine democracy, erode our freedoms.
Right.
It's a double-edged sword.
It is.
Incredible possibilities, but also significant risks.
Yeah, we're standing at a crossroads.
We are.
The choices we make today will
Yep.
shape the future.
Exactly. The choice is ours.
Delicate.
We have agency.
Yeah.
We're not just passive bystanders.
Right.
We are active participants in this technological revolution.
It's empowering, but it's also a little terrifying.
It is both of those things.
Yeah.
But that's what makes Harari's work so important.
Okay.
He's not trying to predict the future. He's trying to help us see the possibilities
Right.
so we can make informed choices.
So be more aware.
More engaged.
Yeah.
More proactive in shaping the future we want.
He's reminding us that we have the power to choose
We do.
what kind of world we want to live in and leave behind.
For future generations.
Right. Okay, but how do we do that?
It can feel overwhelming.
It does.
Like we're drowning in information.
Right. Technology is advancing so quickly.
It's hard to keep up.
It is.
Where do we even begin?
Well, he says we need to start by changing how we think about the world.
Okay.
Like questioning the old narratives, the old ways of seeing things, developing new frameworks for understanding the challenges and opportunities.
It's like updating our mental operating system
Yeah, I like that.
to keep pace with the changes happening around us.
He suggests we need to move beyond that old left-right political spectrum.
Yeah.
Embrace a more holistic view.
A more nuanced view.
Get out of our echo chambers.
Right.
Engage with different perspectives.
Even if they make us uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about finding solutions that benefit everyone.
Okay.
Not just a select few.
Right.
Recognizing the interconnectedness of everything.
The economy,
The environment.
technology,
Human well-being.
seeing the bigger picture.
Yes, and acting accordingly.
So it's not about us versus them.
It's about recognizing our shared humanity.
We're all in this together.
We are.
It's about building bridges.
Instead of walls.
It's about cooperation, not
Right.
just competition.
Right.
Working together.
Exactly.
And it's about remembering that the future isn't predetermined.
It's not set in stone.
It's something we create
We create it.
through our choices and actions.
Through our collective imagination.
I like that.
We have the power to shape the future.
If we're willing to exercise that power.
That's the key.
Okay, so let's get practical.
Okay.
What can we do as individuals
Right.
to start shaping this future?
Well, he emphasizes the importance of having open and honest conversations with our families, our friends, our communities.
So getting out of those echo chambers,
Exactly.
being willing to listen to those different perspectives.
Even if it's challenging.
Yeah, having those uncomfortable conversations that force us to think differently,
Right?
that expand our understanding of the world.
Yes.
Okay, so be open-minded, be curious, be willing to learn from each other.
Exactly.
He also encourages us to support organizations that are promoting ethical and sustainable technology.
Organizations that are focused on data privacy,
Right.
algorithmic bias,
Uh-huh.
the responsible use of AI.
We can vote with our dollars and our time
Yes.
and support the people who are trying to build a better world.
Absolutely. And we can also be informed and engaged citizens. We can vote for leaders who understand these issues and who are committed to using technology for good.
Holding those elected officials accountable.
Yes. Demanding policies that prioritize human well-being,
Social justice.
environmental sustainability,
Making our voices heard.
letting our elected officials know that these issues are important to us.
Exactly. And we don't have to wait for governments or corporations to act.
That's a good point.
We can start making changes in our own lives,
Okay.
in our own communities.
So making choices
Yes.
that align with our values, supporting businesses that are making a positive impact.
Right.
We can support local businesses, reduce our consumption,
Invest in renewable energy.
You can educate ourselves.
Right.
Our children. To
Volunteer our time, donate to organizations.
Right.
There are so many ways
There are.
to make a difference.
Even if they seem small.
I think that's important to remember, that even small actions can make a difference.
It's about taking responsibility
Right.
for the world we want to live in.
Not being passive,
Not just passenger.
but being active participants,
Part of the crew.
steering the ship.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that analogy.
And it's about believing that we have the power to make a difference.
I think that's crucial.
It is.
Even those small actions, they have a ripple effect.
They do.
They inspire others to get involved.
Right.
And it creates this collective movement for change.
Yes, our choices matter.
Our actions matter.
Our voices matter.
Okay, so with all this talk about technology and algorithms,
Yeah.
what about the human element?
That's a great question.
How do we maintain our humanity in this increasingly digital world?
Well, he argues that even in a future dominated by technology, our humanity will remain essential.
Okay.
It's not about rejecting technology. It's about finding that balance
Okay.
between the digital and the analog.
The virtual and the real.
Exactly.
Right.
He emphasizes our inner lives,
Okay.
practicing mindfulness, connecting with nature,
These practices can help us stay grounded,
centered,
Yeah.
resilient in the face of so much change.
finding meaning and purpose
Yes.
beyond the material world.
Connecting with something larger than ourselves.
Something that transcends the digital realm
Right.
and grounds us in the present moment.
Exactly.
It's about remembering there's more to life than just screens and data.
And reminding ourselves that even amidst all this advancement,
Yeah.
we are still human beings.
Right.
With hopes, fears, dreams.
Aspirations.
Yes.
We're not just data points.
Right.
We're individuals.
With unique stories.
Experiences, perspectives.
Exactly.
It's like we're dancing on the edge of a paradox here. We're talking about all this amazing potential in technology,
Right.
curing diseases, living longer, maybe even engineering happiness.
Yeah.
But then there's this underlying feeling of anxiety, like we might lose something essential in the process.
That's the tension that Harari is highlighting. And he connects this to the idea of data
Okay.
becoming the most valuable resource.
Data as like the new gold.
Exactly. Like data is the new gold, the fuel driving all of this.
Okay, so unpack that a bit for me. What does data have to do with living forever or being happy?
So he argues that in the past, it was all about land and capital.
Right.
Those were the keys to power. But now it's all about data. He even calls it the data religion,
The data religion.
where those who control data control the future.
Okay, so are we saying that companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon,
Yeah?
they're the new high priests of this data religion?
In a way, yes.
Wow.
Because they're gathering so much information about us.
Right.
Our online behavior, what we, who we're friends with.
Even like our physical movement.
Exactly. They know where we go.
Through our phones and devices and stuff.
And they use all of this
Yeah.
to create algorithms that predict our actions.
And influence our choices.
in ways we don't even understand.
Exactly.
Okay, but how does that connect to, immortality and happiness?
Right.
Is he saying that data holds the secret to eternal life?
It's more nuanced than that.
It's more like as we gather more and more data about the human body and mind, we might be able to understand the code of aging, disease, even consciousness.
So like mapping the human experience in data?
Exactly.
So does that mean the idea of uploading our minds to computers
Right?
and living forever in a digital world is a real possibility?
That's still very much in the realm of science fiction.
Okay.
But even if we don't achieve digital immortality, we might be able to use data to live much longer.
Right.
Enhance our abilities, both mental and physical.
What about happiness, though?
Okay.
Can data actually make us happy?
It's not a simple equation.
Right. It seems like happiness is more about
Right.
our internal state
Meaning relationship.
than just having the right algorithm or enough data points.
You're right, but data can be used to target our desires.
Okay.
Create algorithms that figure out what we want.
So it's like creating a world where everything is personalized
Exactly.
to maximize our happiness.
Even if that happiness is a little manufactured,
So like our phones would know exactly what music we want to hear,
what food we want to eat,
what people we want to date.
all based on data.
It's like having a personal concierge for your life.
Right. Constantly optimizing for our pleasure and comfort.
That sounds a little creepy.
It can be.
Like we'd be living in these personalized echo chambers.
Being nudged and manipulated by algorithms that know us better than we know ourselves.
That's a bit of a scary thought.
It is, and that's the danger he's warning us about.
Okay.
If we're not careful, this pursuit of happiness through data could lead to losing our individuality,
Our freedom.
even the essence of being human.
Trading our freedom for this illusion of comfort and control.
It's a trade-off we have to be very careful about.
It sounds like a bit of a double-edged sword.
It is, like many technological advancements.
Right.
Data has potential for incredible good, but it also comes with serious risks.
And we're at this crossroads.
Yeah.
The choices we make today will really determine what happens next.
And Harari says the key questions aren't just, can we achieve these things?
Right.
But what kind of future do we want?
Yeah.
And what role should technology play in that future?
So it's not about just blindly following this path of progress.
Without thinking about the consequences.
Okay, so if we're not just passengers,
Right.
what does Harari suggest we actually do?
He argues for a new ethical framework
Okay.
for the digital age.
One that recognizes the value of data but also protects our rights.
Exactly, like rewriting the rules of the game.
To make sure technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
So things like data ownership, transparency, accountability.
We should have control over our data.
And companies and governments should be open about how they're using it.
It's about reclaiming our power.
Yes, and having democratic oversight.
Right.
Making sure technology is used to benefit everyone, not just a few powerful people.
So not rejecting technology altogether,
Right.
but being mindful.
Yes.
And shaping its development in a way that aligns with our values.
Exactly. We need to steer the ship.
Not just get swept along.
And he reminds us we still have the power to choose.
We do.
We can be informed,
Engage.
make our voices heard in shaping the future.
It's not about surrendering. It's about actively participating.
Yeah. I like that it's a message of hope and empowerment.
It is.
It's a reminder that we're not just passive bystanders in all of this.
Right.
We have agency
We have the power to shape the course of technology.
towards a better future.
A more just equitable and fulfilling future.
Okay, so to wrap up here,
Yeah.
Harari leaves us with this really thought-provoking question. If technology is advancing so rapidly,
Yeah.
can our ethics keep pace?
Or are we heading towards a future where the lines between human and machine get blurred?
Between reality and fiction.
It's a question that we have to keep asking ourselves as we move forward.
Into this uncharted territory.
The future isn't set in stone.
It's a story we're writing.
And we all have a role to play.
It's a story of technology and humanity. Choice, responsibility.
And the quest for a better tomorrow.
That's what it's all about.
Voice